What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. We have a banging reset day for y'all with the Masters version of the King's Fall raid coming out, so we can grind out those adept versions of our raid weapons, because there are some pretty awesome weapons this season, especially with that origin trait, Runneth Over. Now, before we get into the video going over the god roll for the Smite of Merain, which I think is an S tier pulse rifle for us, just want to cover this new partnership in Dubby Energy. Hit them up for some beautiful flavors of energy drink that'll keep you focused and alert for your entire gaming session, doing your edits, everything like that. So make sure to hit them up. Now, in today's video, like I said, we're going over the Smite of Merain pulse rifle, PvP and PvE god rolls. Starting out with the PvP version that I'm crafting at the moment here, taking it into the Crucible and just mapping people with this roll. For our masterwork on this bad boy, we're actually going to be running that 10 stability to have this just have basically no recoil, it feels like, at 70 stability, and having a pretty linear recoil pattern, having it go straight up and down. Now, for our first perk, I'm going to throw on Fluted Barrel, which gives us handling speed and stability, so we're able to switch to this weapon a lot faster with that handling speed, and that stability gives us all the way up to 70. Now, for PvP, always throwing on accurized rounds. In my opinion, it gives us that plus 10 range, so we're sitting at 53, as you can see at the bottom, for our range with this build here. Now, in the third column for our enhanced trait, I am personally going to go with moving target, so we have that increased movement speed and target acquisition while moving, while aiming down sights. So when I'm sliding around corners with this weapon, switching between this and a shotgun or a sniper, whatever I may be using, having that extra target acquisition and being able to move a little bit faster just feels nice and crisp inside of the Crucible, in my personal opinion. For our fourth column here, Eye of the Storm definitely feels right for me. Just when we get our health lower, we have that boost in handling and stability, so we're just able to beam people with this weapon and switch on and off of it very quickly. If you're going in doing something with sixes, definitely Firefly is a super fun trait to have on this weapon. For my PvE roll, I definitely have this on there to mess around with, as well as some others to help with damage, but as a backup to our Eye of the Storm, Firefly is a great addition as well. We do lose 5 stability, which Eye of the Storm gives us intrinsically. Now, moving on to our PvE god roll for this. For our masterwork, I'm going reload speed, just obviously allowing us to shoot more bullets down range and having that quick reload, especially with pairing it with Firefly as I am here. For our barrel, I'm going to go with Hammer Forged Rifling to give us that increased range, just because it at about 53 at that 50 range seems to be the perfect number for me inside of the PvE realm, especially with a pulse rifle. Now, for our magazine, I'm going to go with Tactical Mag, so this gives us increased stability, increased reload speed, and a slightly increased magazine size. So this again helps, having that reload almost all the way up at 70 is super good for the PvE realm. Just allowing you to shoot more often is very key. Now, we have a couple options for the god roll for PvE. In my personal opinion, I am having a trouble deciding exactly what I'm crafting. At the moment, this is what I have crafted out, because it has been super fun to use with Demolitionist in this column here. This, every time we get a final blow, it generates grenade energy, and when we throw our grenades, it reloads this weapon from reserves. So it's very nice for our grenade builds, especially with our Arc, Solar, and Void 3.0 classes, a lot of them have either an aspect or fragments that do with grenades, and making grenades very, very useful in the PvE realm. So having Demolitionist on this weapon is super, super clutch in my personal opinion. If you're going for something with a little bit more damage, you can go with Enhanced Focus Fury for those precision hits to have that increased damage, or Stats for All, pairing that with One for All in our fourth column is a perfect synergy as well. So I'm probably going to craft two versions of this in all seriousness, one with Demolitionist Firefly like I have, and then one with Stats for All, One for All as well. But kind of how I was talking about in our fourth column, we have a couple options for these as well. Like I said, my god roll that I'm crafting is this demo with Firefly for that ad clear potential, and we have that increased reload speed when we get those damage and final blows with the precision hits. So it stacks well with that ad clear, and every time we get those defeats, we get grenade energy. So I'm very big into this roll that I have right now. Like I said, you can also craft that Stats for All in the third column, as well as throwing on One for All, because they pair perfectly with having to hit 3 targets each, and One for All does give us a nice little bit of damage as well. Once again, if you're going for that higher DPS with Focus Fury in our third column, you can definitely throw on Vorpal as well to do that extra damage on our champs and some of our bosses. But for the most utility, you can go with Demolitionist Firefly in my personal opinion for the god roll. Another good option in all seriousness is Adrenaline Junkie with Demolitionist, because they also pair very well. But overall, number one choice for PvE is going to be this Demolitionist Firefly, followed by my second choice is actually going to be Stats for All and One for All here in the fourth column. And then my third and final choice for this weapon for PvE for the god roll is probably going to be Focus Fury and Vorpal for that extra damage on those champions and bosses. So hopefully this gave you a good idea of something to go for in rolls with the master version coming out and grabbing that adept version of Smite of Merain, or if you're in there getting that red border clears, buying your weapons at the end and can craft this bad boy at the throne world. This is a good set of rolls that you can kind of play with and see what you like best, but it's definitely a personal preference because this weapon has a lot of potential to just be S tier in a lot of different situations depending on how you have it built out. So thank you guys again for the crazy support lately. Truly appreciate it. Hopefully y'all have a great week here. We got a lot coming out with the Twitch, going over raid carries to help you get this bad boy right here. Also the YouTube, lots of builds and weapon reviews coming at you as well. So thank you guys again. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.